What's up, guys? Higher the Cake is right back here again. And this time, I'm with my adopted family back there. Everyone say hi.
Good eye, son.
They're not made of cake, by the way. They're just my adoptive earthling parents. But I won't get too specific because I want to be on track with my adventure this year so far. And this sure was the darkest year of my adventures. On January 2025, my mom had this friend and we went to visit her friend for her birthday party. And I ended up seeing such futuristic things, I say. It's like I can see the future in which we are. The future! The one thing I've always wanted to dress for to show excitement. February? Not much. Oh wait, I remember. But we invited my adoptive dad's clones to my older brother's birth cake. March. I was highly concerned about the fact that I was going to go 15, so I ended up locking myself in with my clones. They used to be dead animals, but I brought them back by baking my cake mix into their bodies. Killing having a good morning with one another. So yeah, we teamed up and acted like a bunch of gremlins for my 15th birthday. Practically signed me as a gremlin. April, not much, just did a lot of random absurd work. Until I heard the award ceremony was gonna happen, and then May 13, 2025, please go to Yoshi Sandley Grove's YouTube channel to watch my incident with the Fresh Cake Award ceremony. I actually did have the adventure after ditching my award ceremony. Let me be back in a moment. The actual truth is, wonder what I did since I didn't want to conform to the award ceremony because I didn't want to express my excitement. This is supposed to be the land of the free. And the matter one matters. In this existence, it should be unalienable. And then I ditched my award ceremony. My royal mother, Queen Ballerina, was very sad. No thanks. I'm good. But anyways, and we decided to just lock in and study with one another, doing homework for our Fresh Cake finals. We even got to play baseball. And then on May 31, I gave out my evil plans of world conquest. I went to some alternate universe with my pet gremlin and pet cried. We ended up using the Ivan note, where I saw Marion of Bluey's mom cheat on Bandit by marrying someone different, and we ended up deactivating them, let's just say. And this is a reality where us villains almost technically won, but J. Sean Brown and his friends end up catching us. But I used my mind to tie them up, and I warned the girlfriend that if she doesn't stop crying, she'll end up like Chili. That very the fact that I end up singing together. I even did something to Billy's and Nestor's parents from the Colored Student 58 universe for kicking them out respectively. And yes, Harry Stack, if you're watching this, I'm very sorry, but guess what? Your version of Kai's family friends and everyone who gave him the birthday punishment thing already on my list on the Ivan note. And they are no more. They're gone. Dog Lover 22, if you are watching this, go ahead. Sell me and I'll interested. But I took matters into my own hands and avenged your version of Ben's healer. But my adopted father intervened and ended up being warped out. And they and then Sean Brown and their friend and his friends ended up teaming up to help Bandit. And then I woke up out of the closet and took a deep breath. I ended up waking up realizing I was only gone for one single day. Then I realized that since I was late on that day, I ended up gathering my clothes and we ended up practicing bass cake together. And then we went to our Young Cake Academy of some sort to have our bass cake party. It was a great time. And I ended up, and I actually ended up staying up late, setting up our trip to a world's version of my planet's version of El Salvador. June 3rd, we took our flight. June 4th, we visited La Puerta del Diablo Pastel. We had such an intense climb, and actually didn't work out since I was wearing one of my dad's shorts, which felt too tight for me. And then, on the 5th, we ended up visiting my paternal grandfather. And we had a great time together, especially when I introduced him to my clones, and then introduced some neighbor to my clones too. And then June 6th, we went to our world version of El Chaguite, Acuático El Chaguite, and then visited some friend of my mom who ended up giving my sister Amber some of her pieces of clothing. And then June 7th of this year so far, we ended up driving out my grandparents' home. My paternal grandparents' home. It actually meant my maternal grandfather. But anyways, when we visited him on June 5th. But anyways, we're driving out of town to make whatever cool visits we can. And then we made several visits from a waterfall, and then the next day to a national palace, which is our world's version of the San Salvador Palace. And its version of Be Nice. And I love seeing a statue figure of Mega my favorite video game character. And then Monday, the 9th of June, we ended up driving out. And then we ended up visiting my mom's aunt and uncle, which was a few hours after we ate some pizza. We ended up driving back home. But anyways, we even went to the mall with my mom's uncle and aunt, and we had quite a great visit and conversation together. I gave him a fist bump out of free will. Free will matters, by the way. And then Tuesday, it was gonna be our last day. We ended up making some last moment times together. We even drove to our parallel equivalent to Finca Margarita, where we ate dinner with my paternal grandfather. We had a great time together, especially walking and climbing upwards, especially since they have their own version of the lid cakes car. And then on Tuesday, the 11th of June, I ended up flying my clones and I back to the United Air Cake, and we did the same inspection thing before heading back. And I'm back in the United Cakes of America. We had a real good time together. Got a real good flight back home. But here's when things started taking the darkest route possible. And I don't confess this. I actually decided to take my own personal flight with Rick's portal. I ended up teleporting to a very random world. And that was where I first met Wacky the Diesel. I ended up admiring her physique so much, and parents, well, I'm really sorry for you to hear this. But I beg for Jake with Wacky the Diesel, we don't having a son named Lucas. And it's just like how Morty literally had a baby with a Gazorpian robot, and their son was named Morty Jr. And it was on June 14, 2025. And then I just repeated the same process, but after in a different world, where I met Sarah Henderson, the Needle Mouse. And we ended up having a daughter named Sarah. But anyways, I ended up introducing them back to my home. Hope they're doing okay with their kids. And then on the 4th of July, I baked myself my clone using my own personal cake mix, and I ended up having a son named, I named Ivan the Cake the Third. But then some evil rich alien cat ended up abducting him, trying to give him the same upbringing as Sega Northwest, while acting like an absolute misogynist to him. And that and she even had her younger brother and their koala guard nearly force-feeding caviar puree, not making him cry like Bob in the Don't Cry Little Monsters scene from Monsters vs. Aliens, Life of Living Cats, if you've seen it before. It was viral at the time. I ended up saying that and going back to my rooster mode. I even gave a serious warning to her.
Brrr.
And
Oh,
yes,
hi. I'm his evil rich girlfriend, by the way. I'm evil rich secret sneaky tyrant CEO Blaze the cat.
sorry, she just teleported right into this seat. Looking around. But anyways, my clone won't stop crying into the night, and thus she decided to purr him to sleep while patting his back and hugging him as she carried him in her arms. Then she ended up waking up looking like and up meeting her once again. And we tried to go on a date, but she ended up eating some spicy pizza and then went on a really intense roller coaster ride. And then making her cry to the point where I ended up hugging her. And even singing my own version of Nope, You're Too Late by Wi-Fi Skeleton. And apparently, she and I are actually a couple now. And she ended up striking these poses, or wearing these pieces of clothes. Sorry, but credit goes to Nancher, by the way. We ended up dancing like this commission drawing by Casington. Credit goes to you, Casington. And we ended up trying to bake a cake together. Then on July 6th, we spent a night together once again. And I saw that my phone won't stop crying and thus we ended up singing Beautiful Boy by John Lennon to him as a lullaby. Then he ended up opening his eyes, staring right at my evil rich girlfriend, and ended up saying his first word, referring to her as. And on July 7th, we decided to hold hands. But then Darkwing came, dropping the M-bomb. We ended up flying together. Oh no, we ended up getting into a breakup. Breakup, I say. Absolute heartbreak. Pains me a lot for her to just leave me behind, even though we had to fight together. She still has custody of my clone, but ended up getting a bit of custody back, let alone if not 50%. Days had passed, and I ended up seeing her once again. But she was with her world's variant of Steven Universe. I ended up getting mad and fighting against her and Steven. I ended up getting worried myself back home, but ow! It was an absolute pain for the 1st of August. I ended up floating on a mysterious raft. I survived all 8 days. No, it actually took me 4 days to float and get dragged into this island known as Scrap Cake Island. Gallus Cake Beach. It's just an island of garbage they made. And I spent 4 days there. My last day was on Saturday. I was recovering myself using Dustman, serving dust cakes and mechasonics and metal sonics. Actual parts, let's just say, I don't know. I ended up wearing it. I ended up saying up to Spider-Man for calling blazlight sparktaur a monster. I ended up saying, let there be light against Spider-Man. And he flared out of panic. And ended up giving blazlight a tangle dip. And we ended up hugging and going lip to lip with one another. However, I heard a real shock surprise. My clone just learned how to teleport. I ended up hopping onto Blazlight's saddle area, hugging her back, calling her Mommy Pony. And that made Blazelight smile. However, I spent 3 days venturing back home. And then on a real insane adventure. I was in an alternate universe where 3 Roblox Sonic EXE games have collided into one. Rick and Morty were here. I read an alternate version is practically a good version of me, basically. The survivors from Interdimensional Coalescence, Sonic EXE The Disaster, and Outcome Memories will teaming up together with Wacky the Weasel and her friends and Sarah the Needle Mouse and Rick and Morty. And we had versus practically, basically, the same as Sonic Forces. We were running with one another. running through dungeons, fighting against variants of Sonic EXE. I ended up defeating the true Sonic EXE himself, and all the rest of the executioners that were out to fight us. And we won and celebrated like how they did in the Sonic Saturday morning intro. It all happened on August 12th, 2025, my last day of summer vacation. And then I got started my soft cake year, where I woke up. I ended up accidentally teleporting into my evil rich girlfriend's reality. And that's where I met my health teacher. And I'm meeting this tangle who reminds me of my maternal aunt, and we're practically friends together. However, that was all I could give out. And then, cake September, the Friday after my first day of my soft cake year, I got braces. Cake September, not much, but I just play baseball. Then cake October, that's when it gets pretty dark. I was on this trip to the Cake College for my aunt, and we actually ended up going there. It was after the needs of a daughter of my mom's friend. But anyways, and we ended up we finally arrived to Kentucky on Friday, the 17th of October of 2025. And then 18, which is Saturday, we ended up having a good time at Cake College. And we even had a good talk together. Had some good fun together touring the college. And then that's when things started hitting different. On Sunday, we were having the most longest drive possible to get back home. But we ended up running into a deer. That was also my adoptive parents' story. And we ended up colliding into my world. And that was when my biological parents first met my adoptive parents. My adoptive dad even promised to help fix my parents' car. And Bandita, she was like whispering issue 3 of the Tingle Whisper spin-off series. Spin-offs. And she ended up hugging me. At first she was angry at me like how Whisper was with Mimic in issue 2. But then she ended up crying and hugging me out of maternal love as if she was Whisper who was hugging Tingle. But with her out of motherly love. One day we ended up recovering together. We ended up having a chat, my biological family and my adoptive mother and my adoptive sister Blueberry. She's currently being watched out by Miguel and Dante. But anyways, and we ended up eating at Tepe's Mexican Grill. They on the accident a few hours after, and then the day we finally got our car fixed, and then Tuesday we ended up driving all the way back home. A few cakes later, it was Saturday, and that's when my adopted mother and I decided to give Bandina the perfect gift possible. A replica Whisper the Wolf's outfit. She ended up wearing it. She even carried me in her arms. And then Saturday, I ended up going to the lake where I visited some alien dude who goes by Bald Jared, claims to be my cousin. I don't know about him. He even has a girl, for now wife. I was apparently in my evil rich girlfriend's home dimension. I ended up seeing him with a ballerina variant of Whispered Wolf inspired by natural one film art by Capricorn Lamb on DeviantArt. By the way, the ballerina whispers practically acted like a female version of Alan from Smiling Friends, and they apparently have a clone named Vesper, who whispers at raving like a daughter of herself. I almost even contemplated uploading my backstory, but then, a few days later, we were in Bridge Zone, somewhere around Kentucky to Arcade Zone. It stretched all the way over call. We ended up having a real good time. Even good talk and picnic. And then, Thanksgiving, I had a good time with everyone, especially a former group of people I almost fought and took the world off. Last year, they had their own Thanksgiving together. And then, next summer, we had Cakemas Eve after I got my lower braces. And then on Cakemas Day, I ended up giving out my origin story. And I'm not gonna actually make my mother cry. My adoptive mother, by the way. She actually understood, and she even gave me the type of hugs she claimed I would need. Since she and Jonathan Spock Bagel always know there's good within me. Even though I wanted it to be a film, something I've always wanted to be. And now it's New Year's Eve, and that is the adventures of my years over. And by the way, I'm not eating a world's version of Pupusas during our vacation in my world's version of Alotaart. I have spent several good times in Neo Houston 17. So, Happy New Year's to all of you guys. However, and let me even ask, don't get all into how you dress for the new year. You don't. Oh, nah, just kidding. Never mind.